Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I have another instrument cluster repair. This time working in a 2003 Mazda B3000. This is for Joshua Villalobos here in Virginia, I think. No, actually from Maryland. His concern was bad engine coolant temperature gauge, bad oil pressure gauge, and bulbs in the cluster. So I actually ordered the parts and I'm now going to do the test after the repairs so he can see it. I will go along all the wire diagrams and connections and everything I have here as I normally do. Sorry if it's a little dark, but I think it's better for you guys when I show the view of the board here. As you see there, it's all connected, nothing is powered up. So let me get you to the information as I normally do. Put this page down because it has this personal information. All right, so this is the folder that I got from him, or for him, sorry. This is the cluster when I first came here. And just a note with all the information, he's from Capitol Heights, Maryland. I used to work in Capitol Heights. It's funny that I have a customer straight from there. All right, so that's just a quick note, very dirty, not abnormal 2003, right? So that is very common. This is the back of the board where diodes and resistors, nicely done by Mazda on these old clusters. They all put the values of the resistors and when it's a diode in place and so on. So you can actually find things a lot easier. I also mark the pinouts in here, even though they're marked, but they're very hard to see, at least on the on the picture. But I put that for my records in here. And then the next is just, me doing the connections and testing the values on the oil pressure sensor and the fuel gauge. Sorry, this is still the fuel. Now this is the fuel gauge outside the board, but I was doing with these connections in here because I normally do the test after the repairs before I put everything back together. So since I took everything apart, I now need to, reset the needles and make sure they're in the correct position. For that, I have my values already set up in here. So connections, we have 3 connectors on this computer, and we will see it on the wire diagram better. C214, C215, and C216. Those are in the back of the cluster, which again, we will see in a second on the wire diagrams. Powers on C215 8. C214 13 and C216 pin 1, and those I just marked as powers for my bench test. There will be powers in there for the lights and so on, and I actually separate them in here. Grounds are in C215 pin 2 and C216 pin 8. The oil pressure switch is actually a switch for the gauge is in C214 pin 12, and the coolant temperature sensor gauge is in C215 pin 3. Those are the signals. The light bulbs for all the clusters are the positive sides in C214 pin 8 and C215 pin 4. The ground for the lights are in C214 pin 7 and C215 pin 7. I have these values in here for the coolant temperature gauge when it's hot, and I'm going to inject 20 ohms to ground. And the mid-range should be 35 ohms, and the cold should be in 635 ohms. The oil pressure switch, the 595 ohms is low at red line, and it should put the check engine light on. Then in here is actually 95 to 85 ohms is a quarter of the value on the gauge, and the check engine light should stay on all the way to there. And then at 55 ohms and 3/8, the light goes off. And then 15 ohms to ground. All these values are to ground. It's mid-range, which is the maximum this cluster or this gauge for the oil pressure reads. It never goes up to high. It's mid-range is the maximum value. And that is through values and information that I got from the manufacturer. This is the wire diagrams. Let me go back to the first page. Let me grab this. Can I grab that? And now it looks like that might be, let me see if I can grab them. Yes, and now I can grab them. So let me erase that one. Let me erase this one and just use this one. So this is going to be for me to use the mouse. So in here we have a ground on pin 2, which is for the fuel gauge. It shows it's only for that gauge, but it's not. We'll see in here. Again, this is connector C215. Let me make this a little bigger so you guys can see that better. So C215 connector pin 2 is ground, and then if I scroll down, we can see it again in here for all the rest of the gauges. Pin 2 connector C215 is a ground, and it's shared for the speedometer, the oil pressure, the voltmeter, the tachometer, and also for the fuel gauge. So same ground for all. Power wise, I have a power on C215 pin 8. That is for the fuel gauge, the check engine light, the fuel cap, check bulb, or warning, anti-lock brake system, and so on. As we see here, going down for the rest of the gauges, we got a power on C214 pin 13, and that's, you see, it says 45. If I go up in here, that 45 is in here. From 45 connects to all these splices, and it goes over to a fuse, a 7.5 amp fuse. And all those gets powered through the ignition switch when it's in the on position or in a start. So that's just the way they built this. So connectors, we see here the C216 is a 10 pin connector, and all the wirings are here. I got the connectors for that, so I made the connections to my rig in here with based on this, and everything is matching perfect. The C215 is a 12 pin connector. And then the C214, which we see in this bottom of the page, is a 16 pin connector. So again, all that is in here. The oil pressure, as we can see here, the signal for the oil pressure gauge is in connector C214 pin 12, which let me just go over to my notes, make sure I got it. Yep, I got that exactly. As I show you, I got the note right here next to me. So yeah, C214 pin 12. And then the coolant temperature should be, I think, is in the next page. Yes. So the coolant temperature gauge uses the same ground on C215, a power that goes into connector C216 pin 1. And that 44 goes to the same splice on the ignition switch and through that fuse that I just showed you before. And then the signal for the temperature gauge is in pin 3 and connector C215. And that also has a connection with, looks like a resistor, a 17 ohm resistor coming from the powertrain control module. So the values that I'm using here and the resistance are without the computer. So I don't have that computer signal, whatever the powertrain does. I just have directly connected to my rig in here, my breakout resistant decay box that I'm going to use for the testings. All right. Okay, let's do the test. So actually, let me move the camera just a little more. Perfect. So you get to see the changes, and I'm going to do right now. I'm in 635. So let me just see. Yeah, that should be cold range on the coolant temperature gauge. So I'm going to power it up, which I already checked all the lights and everything. You see the cluster is now fully powered up. So yes, the needle is in cold. I'm going to go over to mid-range, which should be around 35 ohms. So I'm just going to increase this value to 0. And then now we got 0.35. Let's see where that needle goes, because I need to make sure that they're set up. I already checked the rest except for that one, and I left the last. It's actually a little pulled from the board because I'm thinking I need to adjust that one. I'm like, you know what, let me do the testing and the setting of the needle so you can see the test as well. All right, so full hot should be 20 ohms. So let me get this to 20 ohms, and that should be right in the line of hot, not on the red line, but into the edge, and we can see that it's not in that position. So let me reset that needle 1 second, guys. All right, just put the needle, and now it's in the position it should be. So let me now do the test backwards. So let's go back to 35 ohms. 35. You see, now I have a better, really in the middle range at 35 ohms. Let's go back to 20. I want to make sure that it goes back to the age in the white line. Perfect. That is reading very good. So let's go back to 35. And now I'm going to go to cold, which should be 635 ohms. I'm just going slowly So you can see that. And that is perfect. So yeah, that needle is now set up perfectly. And as you see, I cleaned the board and everything really well. So this is for Joshua. As he can see, his cluster is now fully functional because these were not working. It was actually quite a few damage on the board that it needed to be repaired. So I'm going to change now let me make sure I don't disconnect the ground. Now this is the one. So I'm going to unplug the signal for the coolant temperature, and I'm going to do the oil pressure. So for the oil pressure, I have that low, a red line should be 595. So let me get that to 595. Okay, so here we should get, and we do, the check engine light on, and it was on because it was unplugged. The oil pressure will set up the check engine light on red, and we should see that. So the oil pressure is right here, and it's completely in the red line, so that is good. Let's go over to 95 or 85, whatever I can go. So let me go over to 95. So yes, in 95, as you can see, we have almost like a quarter of a gauge, and the check engine light is on. So I'm going to go up now in resistance, or lower in resistance to 55. And that should, and it did, turn the light off. I'm going to go back again to 95. You can see the check engine light coming on, and yes, you can see it from there. Perfect. So now to 55, check engine light goes off. So it's responding as it should. And now we have, as in my notes, 3/8 of a gauge. So that is pretty good. So now to go over to the mid range, which is the maximum this will read, I got to go down to 15 ohms. And I hope that you saw how that needle jumps, and it's because this is very abrupt. It's not like I have a dial. This is a switch, so it makes that jump because it loses for a second that ground position. So I have this wire connected to ground, and then the other wire over to the signal. But now we can see that this is working completely perfect. So I can go back to 595 to get it to go into the low position from here. So I'm going to 95 in here, and I'm going to increase, yes, the value, so you can see how it went to like almost 0, 3, 4, 5. So 595, check engine light is on, and everything is working as it's supposed to. All the lights, Joshua, has been tested, and this is just to show you that your gauge and your cluster is looking like brand new. I cleaned. This is looking like brand new. I mean, hopefully it's going to be a little hard to show that on the video, but all this is nice and clean. I apply a special chemical to clean the lens and clean the inside and make it shiny. So this is going to go back looking like a brand new cluster for Joshua. All right, guys, thank you so much. If you have any of these instrument clusters, I try to help as much as I can with all vehicles because I know they're hard to keep in the road. But yep, everything is now fully operational, and now I have all parts necessary for this cluster. So if you have any Mazda B3000 and you need it to repair, Mike Salazar Diagnostics, your best call. Thank you so much for visiting the channel. Don't forget to subscribe. See you next time. Bye-bye.